Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kait Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hello and welcome to the week of January 26th through February 1st. We're going to talk about the new moon on January 29th. Before I get into the astrology, I just wanted to make an announcement that there will be no episode? There will be no episode next week as I will be traveling and I just am not going to be able to get one up. So I apologize for that and I will try to make up for it the week after. And now let's get into it. So surprisingly, I am talking about the new moon in Aquarius this week because I think it is literally bringing us an opportunity to make the world a better place. And I think that is certainly needed and very exciting. So while I don't usually talk about lunations, that's what I'll be talking about this week, the new moon in Aquarius. So grab your natal chart, look to see what house Aquarius is in your natal chart, and get ready to set some intentions, right? That's what we do in new moons. Sorry, before I get into this, one other quick announcement. I know, I will make it very quick. I am no longer on Instagram or on Facebook. I just felt that given everything, I'm sure you can imagine why people are leaving those platforms, those of us who are choosing to do so. So the only places to find me for the time being are Substack. Please go follow me there. It's the easiest place to talk to me, this podcast and YouTube. All right. I would love to hear from you guys. If you have left the metaverse, what platforms you're on. I know a lot of people are on Lemonade. A lot of people are going to Blue Sky. And I don't know if I'm going to go somewhere or not, but I'd like to hear where you are. That would help me make my decision. And now on to this amazing new moon in Aquarius, finally. Okay, so just a reminder for the people who are newer to astrology, new moons are always the conjunction of the moon and the sun. This is really important to understand in one way because the moon represents our inner reality. It's our instincts, our habits, our emotions, the things that keep us safe and comfortable, right? But the inner stuff. And the sun is our outer stuff, the soul's outward expression in the world, our ego self, if you want to look at it that way. And I don't mean ego in the bad sense. I really just mean the outward expression of who we are. When the new moon happens and they join, this is really a time to align our inner and outer needs, our inner and outer truths, right? So even if we do nothing else with new moons, one thing we might meditate on, set intentions around, is just being more authentic, being truly who we are, that aligns more closely our inner truth, our emotional truth, with that outward who we are in the world. Like usually, depending on the lunar phase that you're born under, some of us are much more unaligned than others. So if you were born around the time of a new moon, this might be like, Kait, what the heck you talking about? That's the way I always am. For many, many natal lunar phases, like when you were born, if it was a full moon, your inner and outer were opposing each other. So there was always going to be a tension between who I am inside and how I feel I need to express myself outwardly. So if you have not talked to an astrologer, and I happen to know a good one, that would be me. If you haven't talked to an astrologer to really understand your natal chart and look at things like, what lunar phase were you born under, and what does that tend to mean? It's really worth doing. But anyway, I digress as usual. What's important is to know that if you have been feeling like there is some sort of a disconnect between who you know yourself to be, who you feel yourself to be, and how others are seeing you because of what you're able to put out in the world, setting intentions around unifying those two yous, which we know are only one, right? But can show up like two parts of a whole. This is a noble intention setting strategy all by itself. But if we want to go beyond that, we need to look at the sign that the new moon is happening in. Aquarius is the sign of the people, but not, I've said this before. I think I actually may have written it in Substack last week. It's not the person. It's not like Aquarius cares so much about me, Kate, right? It's the people, meaning more like society or groups within society, right? Remember that Aquarius is aloof. It is not, I stress, not a touchy-feely sign. Aquarius, believe it or not, and modern astrologers see this differently, but I mean, they're wrong. No, they're not wrong. They just have a different perspective. Rulership, sign rulership, is an ancient astrology technique. And the ancients didn't know about Uranus. Okay, so Aquarius is absolutely not ruled by Uranus, given that the people who invented that system didn't even know it existed. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Saturn's not warm and fuzzy, right? Saturn's tough and has the wisdom of age and has a lot of stick to it and the ability to work hard and reach goals. But Saturn is not going to come over and give you like a snuggle hug because you look like you need one. You get what I'm saying? So Aquarius is for the people, but as a group, as a collective. So the world, our community, our gender identity group, our ethnic group, our whatever group that we define as. That's what Aquarius cares about, okay? Not the individual. The other thing about Aquarius is it's an air sign. So it's about technology and the intellect and knowledge and all of that kind of thing, right? And it is considered to be very forward looking. So it's about innovation and discovery and all of that. So, how do we put this all together? What am I going on about? Setting intentions around things like joining community groups that will help your community rise up and be better. Joining groups that move your community into the future, into a better place. Those are the things that Aquarius wants to help you do, right? And think of community again, your religious community, any way it could be the block you live on. I actually know somebody, I met somebody at a party recently. I go to a party about once every 5-6 years. And this year I actually went to one. And I met a woman who was talking about a no buy group that she was on in Facebook. And you guys may all know about this stuff. I knew nothing about it. The thing about the no buy group was it was only for people within her actual community. So I guess this is a national, or I don't know, maybe even international kind of thing going on. But the groups that you connect to are actually within your own community. So that when you say, hey, I've got a thermos and a pair of ballet shoes that I don't want, who wants them? The person who wants them is like down the street, and you can just set them out on your porch and that person will come on over and get them, right? So when I say community, it doesn't mean it has to be, it can be gigantic. You could go say the world could be your community and you can go save it, right? But it could also be your street. It could be the elementary school that your kid goes to. So like setting an intention to establish a student garden at your kid's school and then really getting involved with that. That's the kind of intention. Big or small, global or local, that's the kind of thing that Aquarius is ready to help you with. Now, the other thing that you look at is what house this falls in your chart. If it's in the first house, you're going to be setting intentions about inner changes, about commitments to yourself. It's like a community of one. I know that sounds sort of contradictory, but it is not. Go with me on this. Right? Is it in your family environment? Literally, local community is third house. So if we're talking local community, if we're talking global community, that's ninth house. Your work community, 10th. Your love relationship kind of community. I don't know how you see that, but that's 7th. Your creative community or a community involving your children. That's 5th. Your friendship group, expanding or making better that community. That's 11th, right? So there are all kinds of ways to look at how we can best use this new moon energy to really create intentions that will manifest. I hear people all the time saying, oh, yeah, I used to set intentions, but, they don't really do anything. It's kind of just a fun thing to do. And quite frankly, I don't have time, right? They don't do a whole lot if you're not aligning with the energy. So I hear a lot of people setting intentions that are like completely unrelated to the cosmic energy. We'll have a new moon in Capricorn and they're setting, the hardest working, most serious sign in the whole zodiac. And they're setting frivolous, frothy, happy little intentions, right? Capricorn's not going to really support you. You want to set that intention. That's cool. Make a vision board, do your thing. But the new moon, it may help you a little, but not as much as if you aligned it with that energy. So now we're in Aquarius. This is a really big deal. The other thing I want you to keep in mind when you're setting these attentions, nope, that's the wrong word, intentions, do remember that new moon energy lasts for a lot longer than most people think. So they'll think their intention is not manifesting because they're thinking of the new moon only as the lunation that starts the month. And that is absolutely true. And it is very possible to set sort of smaller intentions that you want to have play out over the month. Fair game. Totally right thinking. But do remember that there's a 6-month, approximately 6-month period also associated with every new moon. So it will become complete, the final complete, in about 6 months when we have the full moon in the same sign. So the full moon in Aquarius in this case, right? So if you're setting bigger goals, first off, let yourself set bigger goals. You can't change the world maybe in a month, right? You can certainly make a start. You can take a first step. But if you want to set bigger goals, this lunar energy stays with us for 6 months. Also, if you don't see your goal, your intention manifest, 30 minutes from now, I'm joking, in a really little bit, don't write it off like, oh, it didn't work, that my intention setting was somehow flawed or something. Don't think that. It's got like 6 months. Just stay at it. Keep it conscious, right? Keep working toward it and know that you are not behind schedule. You've got 6 months to really get into the fullness, the richness of that intention. Okay? Does that make sense now? I don't have time to talk this much because there's so much going on. Who else is in Aquarius? You've been hearing me talk about it for months now. Pluto is in Aquarius, right? So the sun and the moon have both just recently crossed over Pluto. So think of intentions that involve standing in your power, fighting the noble fight to make the world a better place, right? Or your little piece of the world a better place, whatever it is, right? Because Pluto, that energy is also, and it's going to be in Aquarius for like 20 years, right? So this is really big energy in Aquarius. So setting intentions around power are also fair game for this moon. And that's not all. Did you think that was all? Absolutely not. Mercury on the 29th, by the time we're there, Mercury has just come across Pluto. So Mercury is also in the house 1 degree away from Pluto. And so what is that? Thoughts and ideas and communication. Also, Mercury rules business transactions. So, standing in your power, in your communication, in your business interactions, and things like that, those kinds of issues are also super, super good for this new moon intention setting. The other thing, at the same time of this new moon, it is making a trine to Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so this is an important connection. We've got Mercury with the new moon, and we've got the new moon trining a planet in Mercury's sign. Does that make sense? I think that can sound sort of complicated, but just trust me, it's a big deal. So Jupiter is expansion, it's good luck, it's increase, okay? So again, that just sort of gives a blessing to these intentions that we're setting. In Gemini, the most social sign in the zodiac, right? So this is really a time to find your tribe, the tribe that relates to this change you want to bring about in the world. Okay? Did you follow me there? So let's say that I am going to make some progress in my commitment to animal rights, which happens, for those of you who know me, you know that's my thing. And the best thing for me to do is not set some totally personal, individual goal, like I am going to go save a frog, okay, or whatever it is, but more like I'm going to make a commitment to find a group where I can volunteer some time with a group of like-minded people. Finding our tribe so that we work together, again, with people who are like us, feeling like us, thinking like us about which piece of the world are we taking on as our job to make better. So that finding your tribe, joining a group, starting a group. Oh my gosh, start a group. I might want to join it. Are you saving frogs? I want to do that. But you get what I'm saying? So this is big. It's about power. It's about communication. It's about making the world a better place, being a noble warrior, finding your people to work with. This is such a beautiful week. And I really rarely get to say that because the astrology this year, you know, I've said it before, it is tough. It is tough. But this week, this new moon is only beautiful. So I hope that you feel inspired to set some amazing intentions. I hope that I haven't been too confusing and you've been able to follow all of that. And I just want to thank you all. Go over to my Substack and let me know what social media things you're on and just say hi. I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, that's what I've got for you this week. So until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. And yeah, I want to hear what intentions you're setting. Go tell me somewhere. All right? Bye.